wasn't
I've seen worse.
Still got it.
Not bad, Bajo. Not bad at all. All right, guys, since I'm in the red chair this week, I thought we could take this opportunity to look back at one of my all-time favorite Super Nintendo games, Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon was originally released all the way back in 1996 by Natsume for the Super Nintendo console, but now it's available on the Wii U's Virtual Console. In it, you play a young farmer left in charge of the family homestead with the task of turning it into a successful farm full of healthy crops and happy animals.
Guys, there aren't many games that capture the satisfaction of watching your farm grow and your livestock flourish, are there?
Well, there was Farming Simulator.
I have time.
Okay, back around.
I can't watch the...
Oh, Darren, we fell asleep.
Talk about a snooze fest, Darren. But Harvest Moon was one of the originals, and in my opinion, it's one of the best.
Yes, well, you know, I never played the original because back in the day, you were either a Sega fan or a Nintendo fan. You could not be both, and so I missed out. But I have played some of the sequels on DS. Even so, I found this a very slow game.
Ah, Bajo, but that be the life of a farmer. I think it is fair to say that compared to some of today's games, Harvest Moon is slow. But by golly, when it does grab you, you'll be turning out turnips like there's no tomorrow!
Yeah.
Hooray.
Great.
Yeah! Turnips!
Turnips. Yay.
They're pretty good.
The game starts you out with a large plot of land that you'll need to clear in order to make room for your crops. These need to then be sown, watered, harvested, and then sold so you can afford to buy more seeds, farming tools, and eventually animals like chickens and cows. It may sound simple at first, but there's a lot to consider if you want your farm to thrive.
When you're not busy tending to your crops and livestock, you can head across to town to purchase supplies, sell some of your wares, or just chat with the pleasant townsfolk.
Yes, in fact, you can even start a family if you meet that special someone and you've got enough money to buy them gifts like cake.
Ah, cake. It just brings people together.
One of the most interesting features of a game this old was its use of a time and stamina mechanic to restrict how much you can achieve in each day. Every morning you wake up with a total number of action points that can be used. However, with no on-screen display, the only way to tell how tired you are is by keeping an eye on your farmer.
Yes, everything from ploughing a field, clearing the land, or even watering your crops will tire your little farmer out. So you have to plan your day carefully and not waste your strength. It can all be quite stressful.
Yeah, definitely. And considering the game has a day-night cycle, you'll need to be doubly organised. Especially if you want to make sure your produce has been gathered in time for delivery, or you've been into town before the shops close and all the townsfolk have gone to bed.
Many ideas like these have found their way into the games we play today. But back in 1996, this sort of gameplay was quite unique.
Yeah, and guys, I'd forgotten just how stressful it is running a farm. After starting out as a successful turnip farmer, I'd saved enough money to buy some chickens, but then they needed to be fed, so I had to sow some grass seeds. However, it was a Sunday and all the shops were closed, so I watered my crops instead, and only to see on the news that night that it was raining the next day, so I'd wasted all my time when I could have been out gathering lumber for my house, and then I left a chicken outside in the rain and she wouldn't lay any eggs, and oh guys, farming is hard.
And there's so much to work out for yourself. For instance, you can sow a field in 3x3 squares, but what the game doesn't tell you is you won't be able to water the middle plant. So when they all start to grow, it will just wither up. I found little things like this quite confusing, and also the game just started to feel more like work than fun.
Ah, but Bajo, what could be more fun than performing mindless, repetitive tasks? Over and over and over and...
Okay, Darren, I think Bajo does have a point though. Back when this game was released, we didn't have other games like Minecraft and Terraria and Animal Crossing to compare it to, and those games have drawn a lot of inspiration from this one.
Affirmative. Many of today's resource-gathering games have now improved on the formula to cut out a lot of the management that humans find tedious.
Yes, but I think despite the repetition, there was still so much that I loved about this game. It was so satisfying seeing your first crop pop up, working out an efficient routine, and just watching your farm start to take shape. And once you had livestock to tend to, seasons that could affect the crops differently, and some cool hidden events like these handy little elves that live under your farm and can upgrade your tools, And you realise this is still a huge game by today's standards, and one you can keep coming back to again and again.
I'm not sure if the farming life is for me, Goose, but I can see that you really love this game. And it's nice to see something old and classic get new life on the Wii U.
Oh, that reminds me. Think of all the shiny new games Hex is seeing at E3 right now!
Actually, speaking of conventions, guys, I recently visited one myself in Canberra. Now, it wasn't as big as E3, but it was just as much fun. Roll the tape, Kerry!